At this very moment, a sensor that could enable Mr. Fu to walk again is being placed onto his spine. Just incredible to watch this happening in real time.
Globally, more than 15 million people are living with spinal cord injuries. It's one of the most severe conditions affecting the nervous system.
这是那个后裙在抖。
是卡腰机吗？
卡腰，对，现在应该会跳了。
现在拿吗？
In Hangzhou, China, a team of pioneering doctors and engineers have developed a brand new neural interface, helping people with spinal cord injuries to walk again.
小腿肌肉怎么样？
就是我们要保卡腰，还是保小腿？
This is one of China's most iconic landmarks. Westlake is symbolic of the fusion between humans and nature dating back centuries. And just beyond this shoreline, the city of Hangzhou is shaping the future. Scientists here merge humans with technology.
我会跳就让它跳，好吧？我们也希望脚能跳，能跳就说明我刺激到位了啊。 好，我们准备开始啊，开始吧。
In China, neural interface technology is booming. From deep brain stimulations to brain-computer interfaces, these emerging technologies are offering new hope to millions. And in the city of Hangzhou, doctors at the second affiliated hospital of Zhejiang University School of Medicine are leading a groundbreaking new trial called closed-loop spinal cord neural interface.
数节反正现在整个身子全部麻木，手脚抽筋发冷，反正没力气，就这种状态就是。
这是一个60岁左右的60岁一个男性病人，因为他的是颈椎损伤，导致了他的下肢瘫痪，现在已经2年多时间。 那我们现在希望给他进行一个下肢功能重建，我们采用的是一种 GC 硬膜外刺激的这种手术。
So what makes this patient so suitable for this type of procedure?
这个病人呢，他是一个 GC 损伤，但是他的腰盆大是完整的，也就是说我们在腰盆大有一个中央发生器叫 CPG， 那么在 CPG 的从理论上可以在脱离 我们大脑皮层，那么仍然可以产生一个结缔性的形组。
The surgery is due to happen within 24 hours. How much do you understand about what's about to happen?
手术我了解嘛，总不会走路，像会走路这种想法，能站起来自己能走路。
The closed-loop system uses electrical currents known as epidural electrical stimulation, or EES for short, to activate nerves and help restore movement and sensation. Patients have 2 devices implanted. First, a pair of electrodes with 8 contact points each attached to the outer membrane of the spinal cord, the dura. These are linked using wires to an impulse generator implanted in the abdomen, which then sends impulses to the electrode to boost weakened signals from the brain. The surgery is carried out by surgeons and neurophysiologists. But as a sign of just how cutting-edge this procedure is, a team of engineers are also involved.
就是在这样的话，在我们手术过程中，我们通过电子力去刺激、去激活肌肉，我们的工科团队在帮我们计算哪一个位置会放得会更好，为我们手术后选用 这种刺激的这种参数，比较适合的刺激参数，包括我们手术后的刺激方案，都是非常重要的。
With Feng Wei cleared for surgery, the operation can now go ahead.
So just walking through the hospital into the room where our patient is preparing to have this implant, this device implanted into his body, and we are being given the chance to actually be in that operating theatre as the surgery is happening. It's quite nerve-wracking, actually. I'd imagine not half as nervous as our patient currently is. Thank you. Mr. Fong.
This is a lumbar.
That's where you can see the damage to the nerves.
Yes.
So that's where the device is going to go.
Yeah, I will put here. Hope we can activate all the muscle we need.
今天下来的。
我就想从这儿切这儿，好。
At this very moment, the team here are operating on Mr. Feng, our patient, who this morning was paralysed from the waist down and right now is having a piece of technology placed inside his body that will essentially send the message to walk and stand again. It's just incredible to watch this happening in real time.
This 这就是我们要放进去的电极，我们将会放到这个击碎的翼膜外，这样就可以。这是一个1×8，两个1×8是16刀。
This technology is the result of close collaboration between doctors and biomedical engineers at Zhejiang University in Hangzhou. It's part of a project called Walk Again, led by Professor Xu Kedi.
Hello, lovely to meet you.
For a normal people, when we want to do some movements, the signal was generated by your brain, right? And the signals will transport from the brain through the spinal and to the peripheral nerves, and finally reach your muscles. If the patient has some spinal cord injuries, the transport of the signal will be interrupted or broken.
Inside the bodies of people without disabilities, signals travel from the brain to the muscles through the spinal cord, much like cars running smoothly along a highway. When enough signals arrive, the body can move. After spinal cord injury, this highway is damaged and only a few signals get through, meaning muscles don't receive enough information to stand or walk again. Spinal cord stimulation acts like a highway repair, with electrical stimulation helping more signals pass through the injured area.
So how can we get more cars through the broken highways? That was the function of the spinal cord stimulations. That's the original idea of this kind of the work. For example, for the Parkinson's disease, we know that there was technology called the deep brain stimulation. That's actually the same things with our spinal cord stimulation. For example, in the brain, they will put some long and tiny electrodes into the brains. And for the spinal, normally we cannot directly put electrode into the spine, but we can put those like this shit onto the surface of your spinal cord.
By directly communicating with the nervous system, the technology represents a new frontier in neural interface. Alongside deep brain stimulations and the more widely known brain-computer interfaces, or BCI for short.
你也知道，我们团队一直也是在做脑机接口的研究，大部分脑机接口是通过这个置入电极，然后让大脑，我们知道大脑在想什么， 我们通过解码，而我们的 GC 接口呢，因为我们是选用的这个GC 不完全损伤的病人，他知道他在想干什么，而我们的 GC 神经接口是帮助他实现他想动这个下肢，重建他的运动功能。
You know, for the electrical stimulation, there was many parts you needed to consider. For example, the amplifier of the currents, so how strong you need to use the electrical stimulations, and also the frequencies, and how long you needed to, for every pulse you want to put into the bodies. So if you combine all these things, there's tens of thousands of the options.
Algorithm is what's enabling you to be really precise here.
Yes, we also do the testing during the surgery until we think we are put this electrode into the right place.
先放你们啊，好的，好。
A piece of his spinal bone has been removed to give them better access. And right now, at this very moment, a sensor that could enable Mr. Fung to walk again is being placed onto his spine.
对，对，好。 我们接临时的刺激器，这样我们测试每一个触点。
So we've just got to the point in the operation where the medical team are handing over to the engineers to test if this technology will actually work and if it's been placed in the perfect place.
所以我们现在就是我们16个电极上有16个触点，把每一个触点进行刺激，希望我们把这个所需要的主要的10块肌肉都能够激活。
During the procedure, the team activates key muscles needed for walking. Iliopsoas, a hip flexor which lifts the leg forward during the swing motion. Gluteus medius, an abductor which stabilises the pelvis. Biceps femoris, part of the hamstrings muscle group, which helps extend the hip when you push off the ground and bend the knee. And tibialis anterior, which lifts the front of the foot during walking.
3号按是几号按？2号按。小腿肌肉有没有激活？
觉得好像稍微高了一点点，可以往下拉一些下来，因为小腿我没看到。
It's quite a sight in here right now because while you have the medics who are holding all the surgical tools you'd expect to see in an operating theatre, alongside them you have the engineers holding an iPad and looking at the data that they're getting to better position these sensors.
If the impedance is too high, that means the electrical cannot go through this point.
Yeah.
So that's what we call a problem, and we need to adjust it.
Yeah.
现在应该就会跳了。
We can see his body is reacting now to the electrical signals, and that's a good sign?
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
下面刚才左边的电极已经放到我们预想的位置了，位置还比较理想。我们现在在测试右侧的电极，支配右腿电极。
So the test continues for now.
怎么样
9和16尾端有可能是朱老师你没摁牢。
？9好了没？
9好一点。
是卡腰肌吗？
卡腰，对，现在应该会跳了。
现在拿吗？
这是那个后裙在抖，你应该摸得到的后裙在抖。
小腿肌肉怎么样？
他反正大腿的几块肌肉都是打得活的，然后就是那个单独的小腿现在还不行。
卡腰有几个电极？
卡腰有2个电极，够了。
And it seems there's a bit of tension in the room about where is best to place it.
就是我们要保卡腰还是保小腿？
我的意思就是说，如果你要拿到那个小腿的话，估计整个要再往下移2个电极点以上，上面的那个 IO 就没了。
那卡腰这里面。
Professor Xu, can I just ask quickly what's the latest state? Where are we? What's happening? I saw that graph.
We
suddenly
have
going
finished
all over.
the testing part.
The testing's finished?
Finished.
Right.
We didn't see the activation of this muscle.
Right.
But considering this IL muscle is very important for standing and walking muscles.
Which is more important.
Yeah, so we need to make a choice.
What does that mean for Mr. Fung when it comes to standing and walking again? Will he be able to, based on where you've placed it?
Yeah,
He will still be able to stand and walk.
yeah, yeah.
我们现在准备下一步是固定电极吧，我们用一个线把它缝在硬膜上，给它固定，把电极固定上，然后呢就做皮下通道，准备放皮下刺激器。
After more than 4 hours, the operation is complete. The stimulator is implanted in the abdomen, the result of a carefully coordinated effort between doctors and engineers. You've just left the operating theatre. Tell me, how's it gone?
这个手术进展非常顺利，应该我是比较满意的。我们把这个电极放到这个我们的需要放的位置，这个我们用很小的这个刺激参数，这个病人就会引起他很大的一个肌肉激活反应，这样的话就为我们后面病人这个下地行走提供了一个基础。
There seemed to be a moment in the surgery when there was some uncertainty about where to place the device. What was happening there?
就是我们把他的控制我们这个大腿的这个屈关节或屈膝的肌肉都激活了，但是这个人的踝关节这个背屈的这个肌肉当时没有激活，所以我们就几个在讨论，是让他电极放高一点还是放低一点？放高一点呢，就会他的大腿抬起来会更容易。那么如果放得太低呢，可能就影响了他的腿上抬，有可能会影响他下一步的这个行走。所以呢，我们决定最后还是把这个电极往上放了一点。
After surgery, doctors design a personalised rehabilitation programme. It's hoped Feng Wei will be able to walk independently within 6 to 12 months. But right now, the procedure is already changing lives. Zheng Kuxin was just finishing her undergraduate studies with dreams of becoming a teacher when a devastating accident saw her fall from an 8-storey building. She's agreed to speak to us, but asked that her face is not shown on camera.
他的下肢几乎是不能运动，下肢也没有感觉，所以呢，他跑到很多医院，但是很多人就告诉他，他有可能终身就没有机会站起来或者行走。他现在可以自己就说自己站起来，并且可以能站30分钟。他现在已经开始在练习迈步，准备为下一步行走做准备。
我现在做完手术才3个多月，可能1、2个月的时候，就能明显的感觉到，然后现在是进步也挺大的。他会给你一个充电宝和手机，然后呢让你自己操控，然后呢他会把程序组打开之后，它能让你能做一些动作。
And this is what makes this type of neural interface unique. During rehabilitation, data collected from wearable sensors on the legs is sent to an app. Using an algorithm, the app fine-tunes both the type and intensity of stimulation coming from the impulse generator. This closed-loop system adjusts in real time, allowing patients to move only when they want to and to switch between different stimulation modes to suit their needs.
So this is a spinal cord, and here, this is a dura. And where we put our electrode is, so one is here. So this is the contact, the mental contact, and another one is here. So this is the contact. So the distance between here and here sometimes will change. That depends on your body position. So that means when you are sitting down, when you are lay down, or when you are stand up, the distance will change. And the electrode we put out from the contact As normally we can see that like a trachea area. So this is the electrode. So if the distance is changed, influence of the electrode will be changed. So you need to change the parameters of your electrical stimulation.
Which is why the patients need an app to be able to change.
Yes, yes.
The system uses two different apps. One is a clinical version for doctors and engineers, which gives full control of the device, including stimulation settings and battery charging. The other allows patients to make small, safe adjustments by themselves to change the strength of the stimulation.
他们来了好几次嘛，然后给我调，然后到后面可能是自己腿的力气又变大，然后呢，加上电流的辅助，然后很多动作就能做得出来。
嘿，老杰，你好
啊，这居然好。
哎，
要看你自己坐下来啊。
难这好。力是有点好了，这是
后腿不行了，
痛的问题。
啊，好，来，请坐。
坐下给你放
下啊，那个把那个小推车放到旁边。
对对对，练啊。
每天走多长距离？
每天2次半，上午1次，下午1次。
每次多少米？走多少米？
走了大概500米左右吧。
In 2024, construction worker Jin Yin Biao suffered a thoracic spine injury after falling from the 3rd floor of a building he was working on. The accident left him paralysed below the waist. But after being offered spinal cord neural interface technology, everything changed.
我们的第一个病人，我们喊他叫金大叔，告诉了他我们这个发起的这种临床试验，他也很高兴作为我们的志愿者，再加上一些康复治疗，那么在2个月以后，他就开始就是说行走，然后到后面呢，就是说他可以到6个月的时候，他可以拄着双拐行走，并且在2个月的时候，他的大便也控制大便能力也恢复了，然后呢，他的感觉以前在大腿这个地方，然后呢，慢慢他的整个感觉在向下走，他的进步是非常快的。
His recovery has been helped by the fact that his injury was less severe than in the other cases we've seen, and the surgery was performed within 8 months of his accident, before muscle atrophy, the wasting or thinning of muscle mass, had become severe.
我们双拐再走一下看看啊。
去吧，
行啊。
哎呀，这样站不起啊。
好，不勉强啊，不勉强啊，就慢慢来。
好，注意安全。
对，
好。
这尝试没有用了嘿。
尝试也没用。一会儿还要多练一练这个双拐，会吃力一些。还是进展很不错。那现在其他的问题呢，就是感觉呢有什么变化？
感觉是现在是比以前好多了。
好在什么地方？
那个2个腿有力了呗。
2个腿有力。
以前会抖的嘛。走去。
那么你这个每天起床、洗漱啊，这个穿衣服啊，
这个我自己会穿。
都能够完成了。
都能够完成。
都能完成。
说你现在一个人可以出门，就是不要家里人陪吃，是这样？
不要陪，现在
不需要陪。当我们金先生成功的能够独立行走以后，我们团队都非常高兴。但是呢，因为脊髓损伤有很多种，那我们接下来就是把这种方法，我们希望摸索的就比较规范化、标准化，希望用到更多的病人。所以呢，这也是我们目前在做的工作。
So far, only 10 people from around the world have had the surgery. Clinical feedback and rehabilitation data are now helping the team refine the technology, one patient at a time.
For Jin, we have only put on 1, 2 plus 8 electrode. But if you only use this single one, you cannot separate the different part of the left and the right different parts. So for Ms. Jiang, we have optimization. So we have put this 1 plus 8 electrodes.
In Zheng Kexin's case, doctors learned the optimal stimulation point on her left side was slightly higher than on the right. So they installed 2 separate electrodes, allowing finer independent control of each side of the spinal cord, an innovation that has since been applied to all patients. And with each surgery, the technology continues to improve.
因为我们目前用的都是一些买来的商用电极，在它的这个长度和覆盖的面上是不够的，我们需要为每一个病人要设置一种个性化的电极，要达到我们的要求。
Each year, roughly 500,000 people around the world suffer a spinal cord injury. Poor access to healthcare, social stigma, and barriers to education or employment can make life even harder. Families also face enormous financial burdens, with lost income and the spiralling cost of long-term care. So could technological advances here in Hangzhou offer real hope for change?
作为我们这儿医院呢，我们是希望呢，就是回答别人没有回答的问题，解决别人没有解决的难题。
Just a month after surgery, Feng Wei is learning to stand and walk again.
反正我们现在老师主要是要是屈髋勾腿，就差这步最肌肉最少，其他都还可以了。等于就是每个动作都要做的，好像锻炼身体一样。1、2、3，哎，对，好，稳住，稳住。现在我们竖起嘛站，非得站也站得稳了，拐杖走也可以走10米、20米，以前走不了的。 家里的希望我更大了，高兴高兴。他们天天看到我有希望，好起来，一天天好起来，他们的希望更大。
正常呼吸啊，呼吸保持住。因为我看到阿姨一直在这儿，就是
天天陪着我很辛苦，谢谢她，由衷的感谢。
Now back home, it's not just movement the spinal cord neural interface has restored. It's also hope, dignity, and the promise of a better future.
肯定是比较乐观的。现在有这个机器的辅助下，我能完成很多动作。我相信锻炼以后会越来越好。
术后吧，慢慢的可以。 我自己穿鞋了，穿衣服了，
节奏掌，
也可以自己走出去走走了，到娱乐场了去玩玩了。
希望我早点能走路能生活自理，把拐杖扔掉，能自己走。 这是我最大的希望。
I think for the patients themselves, their hope is they can get the functions from their body. You talk with them, what you want the most? I think the answer is, I want to rewalk again. I want to stand up again.